Well, hello. My name is Daddy-O, and the Uber experiment worked. All right, I'm going to tell you about an experiment that one of my peeps here did, and I got a comment from them telling me how far they actually took the experiment. It only was for 2 weeks to prove a point. All right, I want to read a comment here that's going to be interesting for you guys that are doing the rental or wanting to do a rental to go do Uber in. My name is Daddy-O. I do a little bit of everything right now, so let's get into this. I'm going to read a comment here from a gentleman. That was a gentleman that is an Uber driver, and what they have done, I would never do. I would never do what they have done. But what they have done worked for them, and I'm going to explain this. This is kind of, I don't know. Let me read the comment, and then we'll get into what happens here, and I'll discuss this. All right, here we go. This is from. I'm gonna go ahead and mention the handle on here. This was from a video I did. I rented an electric vehicle to do Uber. Is that smart? Okay, so listen. I had to turn the AC down. I got the AC going. I'm in Florida, and it's freaking hot today. Okay, here we go. I've been, and the guy's handle is JNEUEL, and this was 5 days ago on the video. I rented an electric vehicle to drive Uber. Is that smart? Apparently it is. I think it is, and so does this individual because of what they went and did. All right, here we go. I've been meaning to comment for a few months, but have been busy. I wanted to thanks. I took, in other words, thank you. When you read comments, sometimes you have to kind of look and see what the person's trying to say to get the comment out. All right, so bear with me. I took your advice, went to Avis and rented an electric car. The experiment was fantastic. They even gave me a Mustang Mach-E, same as what I drive. All right, at the same price as a Bolt. Drove it for 2 weeks. Here's where we get into the fun part. Drove it for 2 weeks, all right? Let's see here. Fell in love. Love not ragging out my Tahoe anymore. Love not dealing with gas stations and prices. Love not dumping fuel. The biggest drawback to me was the money, and I'm gonna explain because I need to let this person know also there's something you got to do here. Okay, you've done the great part. Let's get into what you can do to help you with the money. All right, the biggest drawback was to me was the money. I was coughing up about 60% of my earnings to pay for my rental. That I'm sure was on me. In other words, that's in parentheses. Anyway, the experiment worked. I now have my own Mach-E. This is what I would not have done, all right? Here's what they've done. I now have my own Mach-E. I had enough equity in my Tahoe to get one with no money down. In other words, they went and bought them a Mach-E. After driving it 2 weeks on a rental, they went and bought themselves, traded in their Tahoe, and got them a Mach-E. All right? Great car. I'm telling you, it's a money maker. All right, here we go. Lowered my payments by a lot too. So in other words, they traded and also lowered their car payments. I love that Mustang. Everybody who got in it remarked how comfortable it was. I was super surprised at how comfortable I was even after 250 miles a day. That's what I do. I do it right about that. I am old too. All right, this is an older individual. I start with it in a few weeks. Thanks for for the video. Was a great experience. I'm glad to bump it. I was glad I bumped into it. All right, I do a rental vehicle. I find it's the easiest way for me to do my Ubering, okay? Because I don't put mileage on my other personal vehicles that I have. I would have not gone and traded in a vehicle and gotten me a vehicle just to go do Uber in. Again, you're still going to have the same problems. You're still going to be putting mileage on that vehicle. It's only going to last you a few years, and you're going to have too many miles on it. And Uber, if it's a classified comfort, which I'm sure it is, if it's the Mach-E, it's not going to be comfort anymore. All right, and I've done videos about how important it is if you can do a comfort ride. If you're an UberX, you want to try to get a comfort ride to do Uber in, because you are going to make a little bit extra money with those comfort requests. All right. Those people also that are doing the comfort requests, a lot of times are the ones that are going to tip you. They're the ones that, because they're paying a little extra for the ride, they're more apt to tip. And those are the ways, I wish I had your name on here. Those are the ways you make the extra. All right, just getting a rental vehicle and going out and doing the same thing you have been doing over and over again is not the way to make money. Take advantage of that rental, nice comfort vehicle, and you can make more money by doing little games, little simple things. And I've got videos on here. I'm not getting into the game thing today. There are videos on here explaining how to play the games. All right, just getting the electric vehicle, the rental, is not going to make you the extra money. All right. If you're doing the same game that you've been doing when you had your own personal vehicle, you're not making the extra. All right. That's where you need. Now, I will not go buy another vehicle ever to do Uber in. It doesn't make sense. You know, I'm proud of you for enjoying the Mustang Mach-E. All right. That's great. I would take that Mustang Mach-E, set it in my yard, and enjoy it when you want to drive it. But that's not what I would be doing Uber in. I would be going to rent me another Mach-E to go out and do my Uber in. All right, that's where you want to do the depreciate. That's where you want to do the wear and tear. I have this vehicle right here. I've gone over 20-some thousand miles in it since I've had it. And I'm already noticing little scuff marks on the doors, a little bit of this here and there. And I've explained this in videos before. When you're doing your own personal vehicle, over a period of time, you might not see it. But over a period of time, there are wear and tear stuff that's going on in your vehicle that is just, no, I can't do that. I've explained on here many a times, I've had vehicles that I wore down to the bone. All right. So go get you a rental and experiment. Try it out. If you can get the Mach-E, you're going to fall in love with it. I promise you that. All right. You're going to enjoy that. Now, also, I get comments from people that can't get a vehicle. I got one earlier that I ran by where someone was in their area. They can't get no comfort vehicles. And the only vehicles that are available is through Hertz. I've expressed my feelings on Hertz before. I had issues. That's the first company I started going through when I started doing a rental was Hertz. I didn't like the way they did things. All right. They got too much going on there that don't work. It just don't work. I'm not going to get into the details why not to use Hertz. It just doesn't work for me. All right. Now, if you're in an area and that's all you have available, do it. Just pay attention. All right. Pay attention. The vehicles they're going to give you is not going to be up to snuff usually. Watch your money. All right. They like to play little games with your bank. All right. Take it out, put it back in, take it out, put it back in. And it can screw you up. All right. Be careful of that. I have a dedicated account in a different bank than I normally bank in that each week I put my lease fee into. That's all that account's used for. That's all that bank is used for. Each week I put money in that account so that every Tuesday morning at 9:02 usually they're going to take it out. All right. I don't want my rental screwing up my other account. So because I learned a lesson with Hertz, when I started doing Avis, I just set up another account in another bank so I don't have to worry about any mix-ups. All right. But anyway, the experiment worked for this person. I could not have gone out and just bought a vehicle. Would not have to do Uber in. I've been doing this a long time. It doesn't work to rag out your personal vehicles. That's just it. And I know a lot of people, that's all you got. That's all you got. That's all you got. You may want to check into the Uber Marketplace. You can buy, if you're wanting to buy a vehicle, you can actually go through the Uber Marketplace and buy a vehicle. All right. You can, and check out the rentals because, it's a great way to get started, to figure out what you want to do. And this individual saw that right away. They enjoyed driving the electric. It was much better. But then they turned right around and bought one. I couldn't have done that. Even though the experiment worked and proved to them that the electric vehicle was good to do Uber in, you got to do extras. You got to work for the extras. If you haven't, I'm just going to call you Jay. Jay, you've been reading, looking at the videos for months. You know that I talk about this. Work for the extras. Don't just depend on doing the same thing you do every day with your normal Uber car. Get out of that. Get out of that mode. Get into a different mode where you can go out and focus on the extras. If you're focusing on the extras, the smell, the clean, the blah, 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 that stuff that I've talked about before, you focus on that, you'll make more money. All right. That's just a given. It's the little details that work. All right. Congratulations on the Mach-E. I love the car myself, so I completely understand how you want to get attached to them. But park that Mach-E in your parking lot at the house there. Don't rag it out no more. Keep that little beautiful thing sitting over to the side. Go rent you another one and go to work. All right? That's my advice. And the only thing I ever talk about on here, if you're still hanging with me, is things that work for me. Things that I've made work for years. All right? So anyway, Daddy-O out for the day. You guys have a good afternoon, good evening. I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow. I got to do some more videos. I've been sloughing off here for the last few days. I've been busy with other things. Have a good afternoon, good evening. Bye.